You are now listening to Lush Radio Online.
Yo, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hey yo, my name be Fife Diggy, and yes I get busy throwing lyrics at your behind like a MF and Frisbee. Got tipped by my side to the left.
What?
And we love this beat by Teddy Ted to death. Special
What?
K, that's my man.
I'm Andy Shallal, and you're watching Lush Radio Online. I love your style, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate it.
Very unique.
Thank you so much.
We're live right here at Busboys and Poets with the one and only philanthropist, entrepreneur, award-winning artist, peacekeeper.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I mean, you're doing amazing things out here in the DMV, in the community in general, all around. You lived through a time where there were so many different things, segregation, through dealing with diversity, people dealing with immigration, different things, and you have built this cultural center with this platform from people, immigrants, from people from different ethnicities, coming here and into this melting pot of artistic wonder. Okay, so tell us, what made you decide to build Busboys and Poets?
You know, Busboys and Poets comes from experiences over many, many years. You know, people asked me one time, they said, when did you come up with the idea of Busboys and Poets? And I think it's hard to answer that. I think it's a lifetime, of course, of thoughts and ideas that have gone through my head. Things that I experienced, just like you mentioned, when we first came to this country. It was illegal for a black person and a white person to marry in Virginia. This was 1966 when we came here. It wasn't until 1967 that law changed. You know, I saw Martin Luther King get assassinated in 1968. I actually saw it on television. You know, so those types of experiences really carry with you. And they start to shape your future and shape where you're going. So curiosity became a very big thing for me. I come from a place where race was not an issue for us. It's not like here, certainly, not like this country. So when I saw the impact of race and how it plays on many different aspects of every human being's life in this country, I recognized that there's something missing. You know, we don't really talk about it enough. We don't address it. We don't deal with it. We try to sweep it under the rug and move on. That's always been problematic. So I wanted to create a place, when I saw the changes that were happening here in the city, I wanted to create a place that really feels and looks like Washington, D.C. So I wanted a place that has the racial and ethnic and cultural layers that I think Washington, D.C. represents. I want a place that has politics in the middle of it. That's what Washington represents. I want a place that has a bookstore, you know, because we have lots of universities and great schools in this city. That's what Washington represents. I wanted a place that speaks to that. So you have to start with great food, and then you build around that. So the food is the watering hole, it's the feeding place where everybody comes to, and then other stuff, magic happens around that, you know.
I've actually been to Busboys and Poets. I've been to the Hyattsville location and another DC location, and the atmosphere is wonderful. I love the big couches. It feels like you're at home in your living room, but great conversation, great healthy food, actually, you know, so everything's organic, if you didn't know. What made you decide to go into the whole going green?
Oh, you know, it's something, it's part of our mission. You know, if we're going to talk about social justice and about peace and about all things they talk about, so you talk about, you know, the triple bottom line. You know, you have to make money in order to stay in business, but you also have to take care of your environment, you have to take care of the community, you have to take care of your workers. So it's all of these things coming together to make this work. We can't just do one and not do the other. So I think it was important for us to understand that in order for us to nourish our mind with great things, we also have to nourish our body with great things. So we really wanted to have a focus that is not just one element, but all elements are firing in all cylinders.
And speaking of peace, you are the man behind the Peace Ball that's coming up, a wonderful platform. I think it's going to be big for the Busboys and Poets brand and just your brand in general for all the things you do, and hitting people in a bigger platform, bringing everything together. A lot of people have different thoughts. What do you want the people out there to get from this ball?
Well, this is not the first Peace Ball that we're doing. So we did it back in 2009 when Obama first got elected, and we did it in 2013. So this is our third Peace Ball. And the Peace Ball has always been a gathering of artists and activists and progressives come together and kind of celebrate successes. Too often we focus on the difficulties, we focus on the challenges, and there are many. No doubt about that. But we also have to take pause sometimes and assess some of the successes that we've had over the time. That's what keeps us that sense of hope. Without having to assess the successes, we can get very, very tired and give up. We don't want people to be tired and give up. We want people to be energized and want to do more. At this time, I think even more than ever, we really want to stay vigilant. We don't want to roll back the clock. We've had some amazing things that have happened over the past couple of years. Things with marriage equality, things with criminal justice reform, things with the environment, things with healthcare, you name it. Lots of great things have happened. And so we don't want to sit back and watch those things erode. We want them to continue to happen, continue to progress forward. So we're about moving forward. And that's what the Peace Ball is. It's a moment where those folks that have been on the street all of this time can actually kind of get together, find some joy, celebrate, dance, hear each other talk, connect with people, and get ready for the next challenge.
Definitely. I think you've created so many wonderful things, even through your murals. I mean, you're an amazing artist, award-winning artist. And what inspired you to get into painting? Because, you do some elaborate pieces.
Well, I think art is always is the glue that keeps me together, certainly, that keeps me sane. Art to me is a very important element of life. Without art, there's no life as far as I'm concerned. I just heard Meryl Streep yesterday at the Golden Globe Award. She was saying, she was quoting Carrie Fisher. She says, "Take your broken heart and turn it into art." And that's really how we overcome. That's how human beings overcome, is through art and culture. So for me, art has always been a way for me to transcend a moment that I may feel some difficulty or some hardships. It is a way to express oneself from deep, deep within. So art has always been the foundation upon which I built everything, frankly.
And originally, I think, was it your father that had a restaurant originally before?
Yeah.
And then you kind of just branched off and just created this wonderful platform right here.
Well, it's funny because my father hated the restaurant business. He actually got into the restaurant business because he needed to have a living. He needed to make a living. For me, it's more than that. It's really about the excitement of being around people of varied backgrounds, of varied races, and various ethnicities, and everybody eats. No matter what your politics are, no matter where you come from, you always exactly. I love food. I have to tell you. So everybody eats, and it's an opportunity to connect people together that otherwise may not have a touch to connect. People will meet at a table to break bread together and
a lot
share.
of stuff. You've gotten a lot of respect in the D.C. area and worldwide, international. You also spoke at TEDx. I also seen it was a wonderful speech. Speaking of you being an Iraqi-American, the stereotypes that people put on different things and stuff like that. You totally have broke the mold on what people think that so-called Iraqi, actually are. Like, what do you feel are some of the things that are changing now where it comes to stereotypes and diversity?
Well, I'm always alarmed when I see, people in leadership speaking very disparagingly about people from different parts of the world. We are a melting pot. This country is a melting pot of different ethnicities and races and backgrounds. For us to disparage anybody is not a good thing for America. So I'm always alarmed by that. I'm always alarmed about the xenophobia that's come out through this campaign, the Islamophobia. I'm a Muslim also. So all of these things give me pause and alarm. I was disappointed, obviously, in having somebody who is now the president-elect speak so disparagingly about folks that are me, my relatives, people that I know. I'm hoping that actually this will be an opportunity for us to sort of wake up for a moment and say we've got lots more work to do, that our work is not done. And sometimes we tend to be lulled by flowery speeches and flowery situations where behind the scenes is not maybe so flowery. Despite of this current administration, all the great things that has happened, there has been a lot of setbacks. There has been a lot more conflicts going on. There's been a lot more drone attacks. There's been a lot more deportations of immigrants. There's been a lot more of that happening. And I would love to see that turn around. Maybe people will wake up at this point and say, you know what, we are bigger than this. America is not about marginalization. It's not about people. This country was formed to be a melting pot. I mean, this is what this country is about. Yes, we've missed the boat on many, many, many situations. Langston Hughes always writes about the America that could be as opposed to America that is. The America that is always troubled. The America that could be is amazing.
War, being a soldier, I was something that I was totally against because I'm Nigerian also, I'm an immigrant. I don't feel that people should go into other people's countries without, fact basis and actual intelligence, and then what do we solve from it, people always get, profits off of war, as we've seen, which is a sad thing that happens, and people, if you have innocent bystanders, like we have situations going on like Syria and everything that's going on, it's sad what people are facing, and I also was born into the Muslim culture, being Nigerian. Assalamu alaikum. So it was it's sad what the misconceptions that people have unless they read and they become more diverse and they're able to travel and experience new things. Sometimes when people become closed-minded and they're not expanding and opening up, that's why you have busboys and poets to talk to different people, to know different things. You never know who you'll meet.
I like the word diversity, I have to admit. I don't know why. It always, why? Because for years I was involved with the school system in Fairfax County. I was involved in that. I was chairing their Human Rights Committee. And we were talking about diversity training. And diversity training always felt very stilted to me. It felt like you had to go and just learn about different cultures, and just by learning about different cultures, you're going to be like a better person, So, yeah, you got to love everybody. So it was like, what was it called? It used to be called the 3 Fs, food, faces, and fashion. Yeah. So as long as you got those underway, you're like in, For me, that's not how you become woke. You got to get much more deeper than that. So you have to understand that it's not just about seeing diversity and saying, it's nice for all of us to live together, but really about going deeper, understanding why is diversity better? What makes us stronger because we are more multi-ethnic, multicultural, multiracial? What are the things that are the strengths? What can we learn from each other? Not just observe each other from a distance, but what is it that one culture does better than we? What is it that one religion does better than we? What is it that one race does better than my race? And so on. And learn from each other and embrace those beautiful, amazing differences that make us stronger as a society and certainly as individuals. So I think sometimes when we see diversity, it's just a matter of head counts and seeing how many people are in a room. Well, that's a start, but you have to go beyond that and say, what am I learning from the person that's different than me? Am I going to reach across the aisle and walk up to that person and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I want to meet you, I want to get to know you more, not just come and be like the school cafeteria where all the black kids sit on one side, all the Latino kids sit on one side, and all the white kids sit on the other side. That's just not how. That's a diverse cafeteria, but there's not a lot of movements happening necessarily.
Yeah,
I
feel like in a sense we were evolving, and then we kind of stagnated a bit. We stagnated a bit when it came to that, because I've always been to travel so many different places and met so many different people, and me being an immigrant myself and a family of immigrants, it's just knowing that there's so many different people you can learn from, whether it's Korean culture, whether it's European culture. Yeah. It doesn't matter what culture it is. You can get something that can better your life.
Right. I think we have fallen to the trap. That's one thing I may want to agree with Trump at some very, very tiny sliver, is we have become way too politically correct to the point where we have lost opportunities to have a much deeper conversation. So sometimes out of fear of wanting to talk about issues, we tend to just say, I better not say anything, because I don't know how that's going to be misconstrued, as opposed to really being curious and inquire and more willing to go deeper in a conversation. People just shy away from it and say, you know what, I don't want to get sued, I don't want to get, marginalized. Fear. Fear is what drives people into their corner. And so I think that change that happened back in the 90s when people were talking about diversity training and all that diversity training should be thrown out the window, because I feel like it actually may have caused more harm than it actually caused good. The harm that it has caused is that people have become much more afraid to have honest conversations with one another for fear of lawsuits and you name it. So I think at some level it's good. You want people to kind of check themselves, but you don't want it to be to the point where people are resentful because they can't feel the ability to have a conversation about issues that are important to them. And race is very important in America, no matter where you come from. I don't care what you say. Race is very important in America.
I think we get so caught up in that whole race thing, and we're all the human race.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel we're like.
but in this country is like, you know, the history that this country was built on doesn't allow you to go there. So in order for us to become post-racial, as maybe people want to be, we have to become more racial.
Exactly.
We have to become more racial. We have to become hyper-racial. We have to understand race in a very, very deep way and talk about it.
If we don't understand and we don't educate. So I think that is something that we need to do. We have to break the mindset and break the chain first.
And it's going to make people uncomfortable, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But you can't make change without discomfort.
Exactly.
You cannot change without discomfort.
Exactly.
If I want to change my seats, I'm going to get uncomfortable because I got to get up and I got to move to another seat. So it's that simple. You got to have some discomfort in order for you to make change.
It was wonderful talking to you.
It's a pleasure
You're
talking
an
to you.
amazing
Thank you so much.
individual, and I want you to check out the Peace Ball. It's going to be a wonderful atmosphere, and we're going to show love, peace, and nothing but networking. So what day and what should we expect?
It'll be on January 19th, 2017, so it's coming up very soon. It's going to be an incredibly historic event. I mean, we have an amazing lineup of speakers, Angela Davis and Danny Glover and Naomi Klein and Amy Goodman and Melissa Harris Perry and Ben Jealous and you name it. The list goes on and on and on. And then we have, of course, great performances by Esperanza Spalding and the great Solange, who is now at the top of the Billboard. We're very excited about that.
Definitely. It's going to be an amazing event. Make sure you support it and support Busboys and Poets and support entrepreneurship and business. And we love you. Make sure that you show each other love, peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you.